What's going on, guys? Ramzi here, the founder of Top Tier Closers, and today I have Ruairi, one of my students who cracked $13,500 as a high ticket closer, and we're going to be talking about his journey, where he was, and where he is today, and all the stuff in between that helped him get there. So, Ruairi, how you doing, brother? How you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty good. Can't complain. How about you?
Doing good, man. Just got off of a coaching call. So let's dive in, man. Let's let the viewers know, like, where were you before you met me? Let's start there because I know you had your toes already dipped into the industry to some degree.
Yeah, I mean I started off in sales doing like door to door and then doing cold calling for a company which I mean anybody that's done that knows it's a lot of hours for not a lot of return, but it's a good training ground, right? You get into the volume. And I think I'd been there for 4 or 5 months before finding an ad about high ticket sales. And I was just like, I need to, you know, I got to figure this out. That anything that had the potential to make more. I mean, I was doing maybe 4, 5K in dollars month on month, but it was like mostly base, so it was pretty fixed. There wasn't much room to move around, so it was an SDR, and then found out about high ticket sales. Did my first training. You were obviously a part of that. That's where we initially met,
Yeah.
and then just out of all the coaches there, like I had connections with some kind of more rapport than others. But like the one person I always knew I could come back to, who was going to give me great feedback, who would stay on the phone over time, who I genuinely thought was like present on the call and cared about helping me fix the problem was you. And like we stayed in touch a little bit after that. I had my first closing experience. It didn't go well. I was trying to figure it out all by myself. Did setting for almost a year after that. And then on a setting call, closed the guy for like 6.5K. And I was like, I'm ready to be a closer, right? Arrogantly with no extra training. And then went into my first month, did not, I don't think I maybe closed like 2 deals on follow up. And then I was like, I need help. And again, going back to what I knew from the fact that we had met, we'd worked together before, I was like, I really wish it was possible for us to have some kind of one-on-one training. So I feel like that was what was missing from the industry. And then I think I contacted you and like the stars weirdly aligned. You were already
Yeah.
doing that. You'd started doing that kind of training. I was just like, tell me what it is. How do we work together? It was, I don't care what it is. We're going to figure this out. So we started working together beginning of 2025, February, March time.
Yeah. Yeah. About a roughly around a year ago, we've been working together
Hmm.
for quite some time. Um, Okay, cool. So I remember, yeah, we met each other. You were on the setting offer, and then you switched over to the fitness offer. What was
Yes.
happening there? Because even though you didn't necessarily make the most money on that offer, that was sort of the pinnacle of the closing career because a lot of limiting beliefs were broken there.
Yeah. Yeah. It was I've never been an anxious person, but I remember talking to you about the experience of when I was starting because they had the fitness offer I was going on had this crazy long onboarding. It was supposed to be like 30 days, but I'm always confident, and it's really easy to be confident when you're role playing because it's not real. There's no money on the line, and you're doing interviews. And I was like, oh, easy. So I interviewed really well and got straight through within like a week. So I didn't have to do this onboarding thing. And then just this anxiety, this panic hit me when I had to start going back into closing calls because previously, when I hadn't had the support, I hadn't had the skill set first getting into it, I just, excuse my French, I shit the bed. Like I didn't make any sales my first experience. And I was coming back around to this fitness offer and I was just super anxious going into the calls. Like I was actually on holiday when I took my first handful of calls with my girlfriend and my family, and it was supposed to be a relaxing time, and I was just like couldn't sleep, wasn't eating properly. I just was anxious. And I remember us sitting down and you just asking some questions. I mean, it was like one of the things I'd never really thought to do is examine that whole like inner game confidence. Why do you not feel confident when you sit down to have a call? And you just help me work through like that side of things, the confidence element, as well as the actual technique. Like, how do you handle objections? How do you do a discovery? And I'd never done an offer like that before. And I went from 17 calls, no sales, to somehow turning it around and closing like 30% of overall. So it must have
Yeah.
been way more than that for the second half.
Yeah, you did get up to 30% closing rate.
Yeah, it's wild. And then just, yeah, stayed on the offer for 4 months. That was the first time I'd ever been able to like put food on the table and pay rent from closing. I still wasn't making great money. I think that was more down to the offer. But over a 4 month period, we just built this crazy skill set to the point where my last month working there, it was 2 weeks. I made almost as much as I had in the previous months. And I just went and had a 3 week holiday in Colorado and Missouri, which I'd never been to, which was
Oh
super
yeah,
cool.
I remember that. Yeah, that's good
Mm.
times. Good times.
Yep.
Um, so obviously you joined my program, right? And like group coaching, placement, all that good stuff. But what do you feel like sort of helped the most? Because I have an idea, but I rather hear it from you.
I think the one thing that I feel like was because I did the sales training with a different group that you were obviously connected with beforehand, and then we worked together. And the thing I didn't have there was enough one-on-one feedback and attention to actually move the needle. And you and I started doing one-on-ones, which I know you obviously do with a lot of students, and it was like putting gasoline on the fire. Do you know what I mean? It was like stepping from a bicycle into a Ferrari in terms of the change in my skill set. And I was just like, oh, that's how I handle an objection. And we could do it together. And then I could send you a recording and be like, I think this is right. Is this right? Yes. And then I send you something and you go, that's wrong. And here's why. And like you adapted to me. It wasn't just, oh, some student, I've got hundreds of them. It was like every time we jump back on a call, you knew what we'd been speaking about before. You knew how to go from like step 8 to step 9, step 20 to step 21. Like it was all there. And that was definitely something I didn't feel like I had before.
Yeah, I feel like with the one-on-ones, it allows us to get hyper specific with what you're struggling with, right? So it's like we have the opportunity to go through role plays. That's what we did in the beginning, right? And then we
So
started going through sales calls. And then going through the sales calls is where we can really identify the holes. And then also what students find very well, and I know this worked for you also, is hearing common objections on your offer and then just absolutely drilling them like it's nobody's business to the point where you know them like the back of your hand?
yeah, I feel like that was the main difference I had after the first couple months, maybe even a couple of weeks of us training, because we did it so many times and discussed so many scenarios and practiced them that it's hard to get to that point where you don't feel relaxed. Like I got to the point of going, oh, this objection again, cool.
Yeah.
I know, like you can be relaxed because I feel like I didn't have the confidence because I didn't have the competence. I hadn't practiced it enough to be like, I could do this in my sleep. Whereas that was what we got to. I was like, oh, third party objection, cool, do this.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have that before.
Gotcha. Well, now you do. So you were on the fitness offer, then we decided we were going to leave that fitness offer because we realized that your skill set was through the roof and you wanted more potential. What happened after that? What did we do?
From there, I went from that offer to a B2B offer, which is a real change of style. And I was a bit worried about that because it's such a change from like a really emotional conversation to talking with business owners. But then the best calls I'd had with the fitness was with business owners and people like that anyway. And then my
How did you get on the offer, by the way?
with the placement system that you set up, and I don't know how it works on the back end. I'm not a coder or anything, but I basically just said, "Hey Ramzi, I think it's time for a change." You agreed. We were on a one-on-one, and you're like, "Cool, go here, A, B, C, really simple." And just I could just pick from any
Yeah,
of them. That looks good for me. That looks good for me. I could do that. I could do that. And then
the
I
placement sheet, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think the main one of the main things that stood out, and we actually haven't talked about that this much, is um understanding what makes a really good introductory Loom video. Because I sent that to my offer owner and he responded in like 3 hours. he watched it and was impressed. And the one I'd had before I thought was good. And then when we reviewed it, I was like, oh wow, it's terrible. It's like Swiss cheese. And then you showed me an example of a really good one. I was like, oh, that's what it's meant to look like. And that just completely flipped it on its head. I rewrote my CV, I refilmed my Loom video a half dozen times, and then you were like, yeah, change this, change that, boom, done, sent it over, and he was back to me within hours. It wasn't even, I think it might have been 30 minutes because I had someone reach out to me. I sent them the Loom video. He watched it and was like, send me a call recording, sent it to him. Next day, we're on the phone. And he was like, bro, you stood out. Couple of questions, things to go, but we prepped for it. I knew what to say beforehand and then just boom, straight in. And the proof's in the pudding. First full month on that offer, 13.5K top closer, doubled the number two guys, cash collected. Like it was an absolute smash hit.
How much cash did you collect that month?
107,000 new cash.
107 new class. So just to clarify, because some people might be a little bit confused, industry standard is 10%, right? So people would assume that you would make, just over $10,000. How did it become 13 and a half?
So, I mean, most offers, I think especially good offers, and that's obviously what you like. You could have helped me get a bad offer that was only 10%, but you helped me get a good offer where they had more incentives. So the overall amount in terms of incentives and breaking past certain barriers was 12.5% or around 12%. So it came out at about 12.5K, but they also had an incentive for an extra $1,000 for the top closer that month. And it was my first call. So I couldn't rely on fallbacks. I couldn't rely on second calls or anything. And I doubled what the number two guy was doing. A lot of it was like, you remember, I had some doubts about like, could I do it? Could I cross the 100K mark having not done it before? And then you just kept being like, dude, like you're already there. Skill set was there. It was just the confidence thing. And like, who doubles what the guy that was the number one in their first month? You know
You
what I mean?
do.
Like, yeah. Apparently, yes.
You do.
Yes. That's the answer.
Yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that offer that you're on was pretty interesting in terms of they had like a tiered commission system where it was like your first sale of the day was like, I don't know, maybe 10% commission. And then the second was a little bit more. And I think it went all the way up to like 20% or something like that.
Yeah, it was first set of the day. I hope I'm allowed to talk to that. I haven't checked my client. I'm sure it's fine. 10% for the first set of the day, all cash collected. So whatever you get in
Well,
cash.
nobody knows what offer you're on. So
Yeah, that's
we're,
fair.
yeah, we're talking vaguely.
And then second one's 15, 20, and then 25. And it capped it at four sales. I actually had a four sale day. I was one of two people on that offer who had ever done a four sale day. And again, it was at the tail end of my first month. So I actually made more in commission on a three sale day because I did more in total cash collected, did about 20, low 20,000s, 21-ish, I want to say. And I had like a 3K day in commission, which I'd never had before. I'd never even had a 1K day on the fitness offer. I made three sales and had like $850 as my best day. And then on this offer, month one, 3K day, 2K day, 1K day. I remember messaging you about it. I wasn't even, I don't think I was even on the proper leads. I was on like half semi-qualified leads. And I smacked out my first 1K day and I was just like, it's over. I'm gonna destroy these guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna buy a Ferrari. Like I was getting all excited about it.
You should though, you should. Good
100%.
stuff. That's what I'm talking about. What did he like? Because everyone comes into this industry wanting to do that first 10K. I know it was one of your goals. We're not at your main goal yet at all, and we're gonna get there, that's for sure. But just in general, for like the people out there, like, what does it feel like actually cracking that 10K and being like, ah, I did it?
I I had been not making money like 2, 3K a month for so long before then. And even when I was doing like 3 to 5K, because I had a base and there was some commission on top and a promotion and things like that from corporate, like I got so used to putting money aside, investing, saving, and like just living on basically nothing. I had this what felt like a giant paycheck, and now it's way more regular. So but I don't splurge at all. But I'm there like, okay, I've I've got $13,000 in my bank account. I just didn't know what to do with myself. Like I think I probably spent more than I should have done, but I put like it's probably getting a bit too personal, but I don't mind. Like I put like 7 grand in savings,
Good.
and then like me and my girlfriend went and got a couples massage. You know, I got amazing Christmas presents because it was November for everyone, and I
Yeah.
never looked at the cost. I was just like, yep, they deserve it. Boom, buy that, buy that, buy that, and like still while being sensible, still while saving a chunk load of money, and you know, just it feels freeing
Yeah. It's good
because you
vibe.
never have to look. You don't have to check.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good vibes. Okay. Cool. 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 Love it. Good trips. That's absolutely amazing, man. It makes me happy. What's next for us, bro? What are our next goals?
I think consistently getting above the 30K a month mark is like it's where everybody wants to be and everyone has their own number. But like the level of freedom I felt at 13K, if I could make 30, it would just be a different story. And there's like obviously other goals that I want. Like I want to be able to take care of my siblings who, you know, they all do jobs and they hate them, all of them. And I want to be able to go, well, hey, why don't we just, take a step back. I'll support you and figure out what you actually want to do with your life. Because I don't feel like anybody should have to do something they hate. And I know this is something you and I have talked about in confidence before, but like when the goal is outside of you, it's so much more motivating. And I want to help my family members to just have an awesome life and to be able to travel, to be able to just again never have to worry about what's on the bill at the end of a lunch. Do you know
Bro,
what
didn't you just come back from the Canary Islands or
I mean?
something last weekend?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the Canary Islands for a long weekend. It was nice. My missus couldn't come with me, which is a shame, but it was nice to just have a holiday. And that's the flexibility I'm talking about. Like, even at 10K a month, which I know everyone's goal is 20, 30, 40, and we'll get there, absolutely, no doubt. All the skill sets there undeniably. But like being able to take a weekend trip and again, flights are what? Cool, done not having to like penny pinch for months to get there. And that's the other thing. And you and I have talked about this at length. The thing I really love about like our industry and what we do is you say, I'm taking time off. I'm taking a holiday.
Yeah.
Like I'm my own boss. I haven't had a boss in 2 years. And only in the last like few months of it, 6 months of working you and me together, have I made the money to make that worthwhile. So it's like, you know,
That's what I think. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Excuse me. When you become really good and you're a top performer on your offer, even if you're not a top performer on your offer, depending on what offer you're on, there's a lot of flexibility in terms of when you work and when you don't work. But when you're a top performer, like they don't want to lose you. You can tell them that you're taking a 2 week vacation. They're going to tell you, make sure you have fun. We'll see you in a couple of weeks, which is awesome. Okay,
yeah.
cool
I mean,
beans.
that's how it's been last few months on that offer. First month hitting 100K, being the only one to do it, that's great. It sets the tone. But then being number one the 2 months after that as well, it's like, okay, you know, you can ask for anything. And as long as you keep producing, they don't care. Whereas when that was the problem I had with 9 to 5s, it was always clock in, clock out. You accrue hours, not even days, you accrue hours of holiday at a time. And it was just, this is, felt like BS. And this is so much better.
Yeah. Um, last question for you. Because I won't keep you too long. I know you have stuff to do. Everyone always asks a question, why do I have to invest in high ticket sales training, and placement, right? And we obviously know the reason why. Two questions for you. For the people that are watching, if you could explain to them why it's necessary to invest into high ticket sales training specifically, even though if they come from a different sales background, that's one question. And then the second question is, do you feel like the investment with me was worth it?
I'll answer those in reverse because the second answer is shorter. I think other people can determine whether or not something is worthwhile just by looking at the numbers. Like I won't give it an emotional answer because I've made back the investment several times over in commission. And not just in commission, in improvements in commission from our training. So, you'd have to be an idiot to look at that and go, oh, where's the ROI? It's like I've never seen anything that produces that much of an ROI because when you invest in your own skill set, that's what you get. Like investing 10K to make 10K months happen is a bit of a no-brainer. The only thing that holds people back is like they don't get a guarantee in life. But then, that's where the winners are born. It's like you give yourself the guarantee. And
Yeah.
I'm standing on the other side of it. And you and I know I had plenty of nervous days, plenty of days where I wasn't sure, where this and that, like I was worried about things. Being on the other side of it, you can look back and go, oh, well, of course, right? Um, I feel like the first question was why. So that's, do I think the investment was worth it? Short answer, absolutely, 100 million%. Um, First half of that question was why is it important to invest in yourself?
No, like, do you like, why is it important to invest into high ticket sales training? Like, even if you come from a sales background, because
Especially if you come from a sales background. Like I was a corporate SDR, and not only that, I was one of the best. After like 6 months in the industry, my first 6 months, there was a whole, because I'm in the UK, as you can tell by my accent. There was a competition. There was 2,000 SDRs submitted, and I came out 14th in the country, 14th best in the country after 6 months. I hadn't even finished the year, right? But I've smashed KPIs so well. So I was really, really good. And then came into this industry and got humbled because I was arrogant. I didn't think I had to put in that level of work. I was like, oh, why are these great placements not coming to me? It's like, because you don't have the numbers, you don't have the evidence.
yeah,
And I got knocked on my ass. And then I had to kind of realize like I can either try and reinvent the wheel myself, which I did, and it's fine. And it didn't make anywhere near the money I wanted to make, or you can have someone show you the path because they've done it before. And it's the same with anything. Any analogy you want to use, you have to have somebody that's a coach that knows what they're talking about, who's closed, you know, big deals and lots of them to be able to show you like how to get where you want to be. Not just the training, but the placement side as well, right? It's like who are they? It's just logic. Who are they going to trust? If you're spending hundreds of thousands a month on your ads and you've got a sales team that's making millions, are you going to trust somebody who's only been in the industry for 5 minutes who says they're good? Or are you going to go to a trainer that you know has collected tens of millions of dollars in cash and say, hey, who's your best guy?
yeah,
And like, you know, it's not just the training and the skill set, the connection as well. You put that together, it's kind of hard not to lose.
I agree. Last question for you before you leave. Would you recommend top tier closers to anyone who's watching?
1,000,000%. You can't stop learning. Like as soon as we were done with our first round of training, I invested in another. I was just like, it was, of course, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, and I've gotten better and made more money as a result of that. And we'll keep working together and so on. Like it's the only person I wouldn't recommend top tier to is somebody who it's just in a whole different field where it's not relevant to them, which is unlikely because they wouldn't be here if that was the case, or they just don't want to make money. If you're allergic to making money and you're watching this, don't work with top tier. That's fine. You know what I mean? It's okay.
yeah. If you're allergic to, if you're allergic to making money, there's going to be a booking link in the description. Don't book a call.
Don't
Please
book a
don't.
call if you want to make less commission. That's
Yeah,
fine. If you want to
yeah.
make less, it's okay. Um,
Well, I won't take up any more of your time. It was great spending time with you. I know I'm going to see you in a couple
100%, bro.
days anyway. Again, I really do appreciate you spending the time, breaking down how things went and all that good
Of
stuff.
course.
And I'm ready to rock the boat to 30K a month, and then we'll have another case study for that as well.
Yeah, 100 million%. You heard it here first, and we'll have part two coming up at some point.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. Again, thanks, Rory, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Love it, man. Catch you
Ciao,
soon.
brother.
Peace.
Bye.